Wait, hold up a second. No, I don't know. How can I do that? Hold on. Let me get in the restream.
So I'm pretty sure you can just go live from my normal link
Uh-huh.
and broadcast what we're doing.
And just share this
Yeah,
screen.
yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, so we live anyway.
Gotcha, brother.
Yo.
What's up, world? Back up in the place. It's your man, Son Cypher, live and direct. I got some company with me up in the house today, so yo, we're gonna get into it.
Yes, sir.
I got my boy Asher L, and beside him we got the guy JJ Wentworth. Um, I just actually ran upon the brothers the other day when I was watching the Gentlemen of Crypto, but we know they're about to change their name. Shout out to King Bless and what's
Bitcoin
Zay,
today.
Bitcoin Zay. Shout out to them boys or whatever.
Absolutely.
We're gonna talk about some things today that may be a bit uncomfortable for some people, but yo, it's really necessary because I just got a whiff of this from JJ just the other day. He was talking about it on Gentlemen of Crypto. So I just wanted to expand and really kind of clearly understand how this all transpired, and then we'll get into it. So I'm just gonna let JJ take it from there,
Absolutely.
and then yeah, we'll break it out down.
Cool. Appreciate the opportunity to lock in with you, Son Cypher. It's a blessing, honestly, to meet a brother across the pond, not only across the pond, but across continent. So much love to you, first and foremost. Thank you for bringing the brother Asherel and I on with you. Um,
Respect.
the points that we needed to make today really go back to common decency and understanding. There are hexagons that look like us three out there that honestly understand being a strong black brother. You stand on what you believe in. Anything you say, any energy that you put out, you understand that you have to protect and reciprocate on that. And I found that some of the gains in the hexagon community has went to some head. And I want to be specific so that others don't get offended because I'm not talking about them. I'm Freddie Quotes on Twitter. I am Freddie Quotes on Twitter. Feels that it's okay to call grown men out of their name, to actually refer to them in feminine names, which ultimately is one of the worst things you probably could do to a man, to try to attempt to demasculate them over cryptocurrency. And I feel that the gains for some of the hexagons, specifically Freddie Quotes, has went to their heads.
True. So let's take it back to the beginning. So in case there's no misunderstanding here. We're not trying to call anybody out, but we're definitely calling out the situation because I know I have had a bit of this experience myself, which I'll talk about shortly. And I've seen this more than I would care to in this community that we say is so close and tight knit. So we're going to take it from the top. I want you to explain the entire scenario from point by point so everybody clearly, and this is all documentable as well. I think you put this up on your Twitter pages, if I'm not
Absolutely.
mistaken. So everybody can tell everybody your Twitter handle. So if
Yep.
anybody want to go back and check the receipts, they can do that.
Absolutely. So my Twitter is at Jams Jetson. I will be honest, sometimes I do delete tweets, but I have the receipts. And if you ever wanted them, I could definitely send them to you. And starting at the beginning, man, I found Hex months and months and months ago. We're getting close to a annual of when I found Hex. And to receive the type of disrespect from OG hexagons, um, I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if it's they just feel emboldened because they made a little bit of money, but you can't have a closed off network when there are others who have also made money who haven't been a um, antagonist against the project. I've been a full fledged supporter. I put my online reputation on the line with the gentleman of crypto. I mean, my brother, Son Cypher, the reason why we locked in is because of Hex. And so to be attacked by Hexicans as if I were, an enemy of Hex, is BS.
True. So what was the spark that made your man's come at you like that?
So basically, I told him that you should not disrespect another grown man. Shout out to Bitcoin Zay, shout out to King specifically. He told King that he was a B word. He told King to see his way to his genitals. And when I see somebody speaking in a way that they would not speak in person, I say something about that, because if you or anyone were to disrespect Asherell, or if I seen somebody out there telling Son Cypher, hey bro, S my D, I'm gonna step in and say, nah, you wouldn't tell that brother that to his face. And if you ain't willing to actually go to that brother and tell that brother that, don't say that shit online. It's not safe. You don't know his people, you don't know what he about. And ultimately you might get touched behind something that you were saying about cryptocurrency. Let's not make
True.
something that's not gangster.
Okay. So what did King Bless say, or what did he tweet or whatever that caused your boy? What was his name again?
Oh, I'm Freddie Quotes.
I am Freddie Quotes. So what did King Bless tweet or say that caused Freddie Quotes to speak to him in this manner?
He actually didn't do anything. So I'm Freddie Quotes called out King Bless because of the lack of usage of nomics, or excuse me, for utilizing CoinMarketCap as the ranking site on his show. But the bigger point about that is King and Bitcoin Zay are grown men. They have the ability to use whatever coin ranking site they want. And if you disagree with it, that's your right as a grown man to disagree with their choice. But you can't force them to see it the way you see it. Then you can't bully them into doing it. That's where my problem comes up. What makes that behavior any different than a mask mandate? Oh, well, you got to do it this way. And if you don't do it this way, then we're going to bully you into it. Nah, bro. When you try to bully people into things that they disagree with, most people defend themselves and they stand on what they believe in. And I feel like the Hexicans have gotten too, not just passionate about defending themselves, but they have started to drink their own, their, their own bath water. And it don't
So
work that way.
so you think it's pushing more towards zealotry in the community. Yeah, that's very interesting, and this is what alarmed me, and this is why I wanted to get you guys on. I didn't even know that was directed at King B. Otherwise, I would have had him on as well to talk about this. But the thing is, you know, so the name of this particular podcast we're doing is called Crypto Cults and Tribalism on the Blockchain, right?
Hmm.
So, and I've been in crypto long enough, not long at all, but long enough to know that there's tribalism all over. You know what I'm saying? Everybody like to cape up for their coin. Everybody like to, flash their colors, and all of that. It's like
Yep.
gangs on the blockchain. That's how I feel. And even inside this community, that on the surface, I'm the same way. I got mad love for Hex. I've been in, like I was saying before, like 90% of my Hex I got for under a penny. So I've been in the game since back then.
Hmm.
Um, and I've seen a lot of tribalistic type of things inside the community that kind of bother me. But what really brought this to my attention, there was another brother that was on with you guys, and gentleman of crypto, I can't remember his name, but he said something that really stuck out to me. He said that Hex is a cult, and he kept saying it. Hex is a cult.
Yep.
Now, obviously, we know that you cannot just generalize and broad sweep an entire group of people, and that's obviously not what we're saying. But if people outside the community, and this is not the first individual I've heard say this. So we went through the phase where everybody was hating on Hex because of Richard Hart mostly. You know,
Mhm.
we went through all of that, and now we're literally on the other side of that. Now people are starting to respect the product for what it is because they have no choice. And now I'm hearing all of this talk of zealotry and, you know, Hex is a cult and this stuff like that. And even inside, you know, I spend a lot of time inside the post chain chat, and I was talking to Asher about this before as well. I have heard a lot of people come inside this, you get your trolls or whatever, you get like, people just coming in there trying to shield whatever they want to shield or whatever. But that's like a very small percentage of the people that come in there. You know, a lot of people come in because they really want to know about Hex and Pulse at the same time.
Mhm.
So I've heard people completely get shit on by just simply being honest and asking honest questions. And it's like, you got these guard dogs at the gate, and everybody's so eager to protect this jewel of Hex and shit that their emotions kind of, how can you say, diffuse their normal intuitive, like brother to brother, man to man, woman to woman type of exchanges and stuff like that. So this is what I've seen, and I've even experienced this myself inside of this platform or whatever. And people questioning me, like telling me I'm shilling this and that or whatever. When a question was asked and I just made a statement, I'm hearing all of these dogs barking at me. When I've been in the game longer than most of these guys, and I'm thinking, yo, I'm not gonna take it personally or whatever. I understand what's up, but that's not a good look at all. So that's really what I want to address. People should be able to. I'm the type of, from my perspective, if I got the goods, you know what I'm saying? I don't really need to say much at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna let the math do the math. So that's how I see it or whatever. So we got the number one coin on the block, and we know that. You know what I'm saying? So as a Hexican, a proud Hexican, I'm just like, yo, I'm ready to debate anybody, whether you're friend or foe. If you're coming from an honest perspective, let's do it. There's no need for disrespect. There's no need for all these emotional outbursts and so on and so forth or whatever. We can talk about this and let the best argument win.
Exactly, my brother.
Yeah, for sure. Just to kind of touch on that cult point, that's something I've noticed. I don't get involved with too much of the like the chats of the different groups, just because it's hard to keep up with everything. But I have noticed that a lot of coin fans and different ones are very cultish, and it kind of reminds me of growing up in church and the, like, talking about zealotry. So I think that's also, it's the dark side of it is where you can get attacked, and the I think the more lighter side of it is where you see, like, okay, there's that emotional fervor behind some of these projects. They are very like a spiritual religious experience with that community that people are getting, and that can sometimes make people, just be frenzied and attack dogs to whoever is kind of going against what they think is the right religion. So it's like I've noticed it a little bit in Bitcoin. Hex, I see it's probably, since it's so new, that you have that fervor, as well as maybe I didn't notice as much as, like, well, I wasn't paying attention on the Bitcoin side, as it has forked and split off, and you have all these different communities within the same overall structure of cryptocurrencies, but each one, whether it's signed, has like occultic signals or things like that. They take on these different spirits. I feel like, so it's kind of thinking about like Hex, the name Hex, that sounds like, the spell, not to say
Yeah,
anything bad about the project, but you can kind of
yeah.
see that with the way things go. So,
Yeah, that's very interesting. That perspective you just said. And once again, yo, like we are all Hexicans here. Like everybody here is a Hexican, so nobody shitting on Hexicans. And again, like I say, I know too many Hexicans. Shout out to RG3 Kinetics. You know what I'm saying? Karim, Yash Deep. I can go on and on. Motley. I've communicated with all of these guys, bro. You know what I'm saying? So can't forget about crypto native as well, so I know, like, the OGs, as well as some of these younger cats understand the game or whatever. But if we're getting, my issue is now that we're actually, we got that shine right now, and it's really not going to go anywhere. And the only thing that can really affect that is like the scuttlebutt and the FUD that people are talking, because you can't talk about the product no more. You can't
mhm,
talk about Hex is a scam. That whole anthem is dead. So the
yeah,
only thing that they can do now is just like start shooting arrows at the character of the community or whatever. So, and that's what we really want to avoid. So I'm just saying, like, to whoever, what I'm saying, we need to learn how to uh deal with, like, discourse in a way that's going to resolve issues, not create more issues. And if you're speaking, if you're strictly speaking from your emotions, then you don't need to be getting involved in these type of dialogue, because they're not for you. And especially, as JJ said, when you're telling another man to suck your dick just because he didn't do what you want him to do, come on,
Hmm.
man.
Yeah.
That shit is so fucking elementary and preschoolish or whatever. Like, you need to cut that out for sure. And
Yeah.
we don't need that type shit. And these are good brothers too. And on top of that, look at the optics of this, man. You know what I'm saying? You've had this brother King Bless, that's and Zay. They broke bread with Richard Hart, and almost like unanimously, people have said that's the best fucking interview that Richard Hart has ever done. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you've seen it. Did you see the interview that
Yeah, I did. I did catch
okay.
that. It was a good one. I like he got to talk. They let him kind of espouse on the ideas of it and kind of go where he wanted to go with the interview. So I've seen different Richard Hart interviews, and one thing is like people were always arguing and like not letting him finish and letting him explain his full ideas.
Yeah.
It was very combative. So that's what I appreciated about that. Just kind of getting to hear him speak, learn things that I didn't know from him, and he has a wide breadth of knowledge. It seems like on the space. And I like how he touches on some things that aren't correct going on that new people haven't picked up on, of like, okay, what are the downsides of the blockchain technology? What are the upsides? So I really appreciate, and I want to say shout out. I do like the different communities, and I'll say I've learned a lot from different people in the Hex community as well as Richard Hart of just how cryptocurrencies work and what to look for and what to watch out for. So, you don't want to see it stained by disrespect being thrown around for clout chasers. Essentially, it's something it's like in all the other social medias and things I follow, you see that toxicity of clout chasing and calling people by their name and insulting people. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, don't I'm coming over here for financial freedom, just to learn from people. So when you kind of bring that over here as people who, I think a lot obviously people carry themselves with a high level of respect and dignity. So when you start crossing that line, like I said, you can only, when people are making threats online, you can only act accordingly. If you think your safety is in danger or disrespecting your name, you got to stand up for your
True.
name and what you believe in. So yeah, I kind of agree with a lot of what y'all are saying, for sure. But yeah, I caught that interview, and I thought it was good, the way they went back and forth in that Gentleman of Crypto interview.
Yeah, I just want to say this last thing before you hop back in, JJ. Just with regards to that interview. So you got two cats that are not even in the community, brah, and they brought massive value to the community just by that one interview. All right, better than any Hexagon or anybody that's even favorable to Richard Hart has ever done. You got these two brothers allowed him to breathe, and it was an organic exchange, and you saw what happened. So this brother, you're gonna tell him to suck your dick because he's going to whatever coin market cap instead of nomics? Come on, man. That's not the discourse that real men have. I mean, at least not where I come from, and I can speak for my brothers as well. I'm sure it's the same. You agree, JJ?
I agree tenfold, my brother. Um, Before I address that point, I want to go back to the cult point. Um, I do feel that Hex is starting to take on cult-like behaviors, and the Hexicans have honestly become ultra defensive and protective of not only Richard, but of their own beliefs. And when you become passionate about not only something that you believe in, but you also start to believe that that thing is perfect and indefensible, um, you put yourself in a position where ultimately you're not able to be critiqued. You're not able to accept challenge. You're not able to accept alternative thought. And us brothers are independent thinkers. You wouldn't have found Hex if you weren't a independent thinker. I didn't find
True.
Hex to ultimately agree with group think. Group think is what led me to run away from the traditional market. Group think is what keeps you employed until you die. Group think is what makes sure you never retire. You have to have an individual mindset and think for self. And most of us Hexicans do that. But some Hexicans ultimately have fallen for the cult like mentality where the group tells me what to think, and I'm chasing after the popularity of the group versus actually doing what I know is right, saying what I believe. And those are the things where we start to disagree. And so, Son Cypher, brother, I think you're spot on. I think you get it way better than many other OG Hexicans because, like you say, I've been here since under a penny. So if I've been here since under a penny, I've been using nomics the whole time. I've been in the post chain chats. I've been in the comment section. How could you ever say to me, suck your dick, bro? And it's like, that's the kind of discourse that ultimately it's not grown men. And if you're making money, money don't give you the right to treat somebody like that. Like that we actually,
or if you feel like you're winning, if you feel like you're on the winning team, so and like you said, I like that example you gave. That's just like all of these get the shot zealots or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, so just because everybody's saying is right and you hear all this noise about, all you fucking people who are not getting the shots, you should die and all this stuff like that. So you just add to the echo chamber. That's not. That's definitely not what real men do.
not at all, my brother. And it's precisely like the vaccine. I believe in the freedom to choose. If you want to make that medical choice, you have every right to do so. If you don't believe that's the right choice for you personally, you don't have to do so. And no one should force you to do so. And to tell another grown man that, hey, you have to use this coin ranking site, come on, man. You can't force nobody to use a website, bro. And then you don't get gangster about it and call them out of their name for not using a website that you like, right? No, it's piss poor behavior. And ultimately, I'm glad there are brothers like you who stand up on their principles and that have values and understand that we're here to make money. Like my brother Asherell has said multiple times to me, we're here to get educated, man. We're here to teach people and learn things. Like,
and then see, this is the bigger point that I want to get to, and this is why I don't even know how to say this, but like, I hear, blockchain to me has two functions. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And one is like, food, clothing, shelter type shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a way to make exponential funds while you ain't working. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really that simple. And it really melds more with my mentality more so than the stock market does, for one. You know what I'm saying? I see blockchain as like an infinite universe of innovation that's waiting to be pioneered by like this new asset class or whatever. But I see agents up in here as well. You know what I'm saying? In the sense that, like, my observation is that a lot of these crypto companies, a lot of your favorite blockchain companies are agents, straight up. Like they are put here to block us. So I see the blockchain as like a chessboard, right?
Yes.
You have these freedom-minded, freedom-loving people who just want to live their life and be decentralized by all means necessary. And you have these agents that come from that same school of centralization that are posing as blockchain pioneers and shit. And they're trying to recolonize this space. So I literally see this shit as the last frontier, that like the innovation is off the hook, even though blockchain itself is kind of like, the first wave of internet or whatever. Like, as far as the technology itself, I mean, that's only going to get better. But the innovation that we can already do on this particular platform with the technology as it is off the hook. So to me, once like the money's good, then, I'm all about the innovation, really even more so than just chasing, money, like, boom, 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 or whatever, like trading and doing all this other stuff. So that's what I see. So I'm saying, like, all of this tribalistic shit, nah, yo. If we're going to tribe up, we need to tribe up against the establishment. Not because you got a brother doing this thing over there. Maybe he don't look at the same fucking coin index site as you, and you got beef with him. These are our likely fucking comrades. As long as nobody's telling you to centralize yourself, that is your fucking comrade. And what's coming down the pipe. And at the end of the day, for me, and I'll move it on. But for me, this shit is really not all about the dough any fucking way. Because who gives a shit if we all get rich and we all fucking slaves? What sense does that even make? So my thing is, I see like a perfect, like the only opportunity that we really truly have, like to connect globally, because this shit is like, interoperable and shit, so we're crossing borders with this technology or whatever. So this is the one opportunity I see for all of us that have been, generationally left out of the game for all these different reasons and shit. This is our opportunity to come together, unify, and build something that they can never break. So all this tribalism shit, like, cut that shit out. That's my thing.
Yo, I could have said it better myself. And you're right. You have the chance to connect with people from across the world at, just right at your fingertips, whether you're on Twitter live, those chats they have on Twitter now, like mimicking Clubhouse, or, what we're doing right now. So that's the cool thing where you see, we all were talking about that, that stabby, that Jabberwocky that they're trying to give everybody. And I'm sure you're all dealing with it down there in Aussie land with the strict testing. They are pushing out like a test ground for their for the the New World Order or whatever you want to call it. So it's we need to link up and make sure that you're connecting with people in different countries, the next town over or your next door neighbor, to be able to, one, trade and do things with each other without a middleman coming within every transaction, trying to do all that stuff. So yeah, I think apart from making money and getting rich, which is, who doesn't want to do that, is for sure making sure that we're all aligned in our goals, towards one, freedom, liberty, and for each man to be able to make his own decisions as he sees fit in the eyes of his maker, or whatever higher power you subscribe yourself to.
No doubt.
I just want to quickly jump in and say, son, Cypher, brother, you preaching. You really, really preaching. It's Sunday here in America, but bruh, preaching, father. And God bless, man, because you are hitting every note in a way that it should be hit, bruh. So they promote a lot of hexagons, but you are one of the realest hexagons out there, because that is precisely what it's all about. We are on the same team. If we don't realize it's not in America Democrat versus Republican, or in Australia, whether that's conservative versus liberal, or Aborigine versus white man from England. No, bro. It is literally haves and have nots. It is literally, you are excluded from a corporate system that does not want you. It is literally traditional finance versus decentralized finance. It's peer-to-peer without a middleman. It's immutable. It's cross-country. It's interoperability. You got three brothers here in three different parts of the world utilizing technology, making generational wealth into the future. And literally, they want us to fight each other about websites. Nah, bro. They got the wrong focus. Their psychology is off. And you need brothers in this space like you, Son Cypher, actually getting people to realize we are much stronger together. And if we actually put our attention and our energy towards the things we should be focused on, man, we could change a lot of shit. And I know what you saying today is going to make waves and waves in the future, brother, because spot on.
Yeah, respect. Yo, it's the people versus the fascists, yo. That's the line right there. The people versus the fucking fascists. Yo, I'm from ATL. I'm from the South. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear all of this talk about fucking what do they call them, like, these white supremacist type, and like, what do they call them now, like homeland terrorists or whatever cool name they got for them, whatever. They're trying to make us think these rednecks are our enemies, but I went to school with these rednecks, bro. I know what they are. You know what I'm saying? These are dudes just like me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, don't get it twisted. You do have a small faction of people that do have a certain mentality. But from my research, every time you see one of these little white supremacist groups, you see feds. You see, and as a matter of fact, I just now saw my homeboy just sent me this shit. My homeboy, he's over here with me, but he's from UK. You know what I'm saying? So we be chopping it up all the time. He just sent me this clip where whatever happened at the Capitol yesterday, this little
Word.
protest and shit. The one motherfucker they arrested was a fucking Fed, a undercover agent, bro. You know
For
what I'm
real.
saying? Did you guys saw that, right?
Yeah, I saw that. And
Okay,
you see,
okay.
I saw those Fed boys hanging out with their sleek haircuts and their their nice t-shirts and short shorts.
Yeah, man.
They're everywhere.
So
And,
they so clumsy. They arrested their own fucking dude, yo,
and
undercover.
here's the problem. Over the last, let's go back to 2016, I fell for the bullshit. They actually got me for a while. I started thinking that my brothers were my enemies. I started forgetting that it is the people versus the fascists. I started literally retaliating against other people, not only because of their race, but because they didn't agree with what I said.
Yeah,
And honestly, when did we get to the point that we are indignant and intolerable of other thoughts or other people? I had to pause and put my own ego in check and realize, Jams, you're not right about everything. You got an opinion. You can stand on what you believe in, but that don't give you no right to talk down on nobody or make someone else feel like they can't have an opinion. When
true.
once people got holier than thou in their beliefs, we created where a space where free speech is not allowed. You have
Yeah,
to you have to be making the best charts and doing the greatest data, or else your voice does not matter. What?
yeah. The
I got something.
majority, the majority never change shit, bro. The majority, only thing the majority does is maintain the status quo, and that's what we're dealing with right now, from my perspective. You know what I'm saying? We got like these army of fucking voices from like all of your talking heads and shit. I can't even, I can't go watch a movie. I can't watch the news. I can't watch sports. I can't watch comedy without some motherfucking talking head telling me how fucked up I am because I'm not allowing some fucking experimental drug in my goddamn body that I can't even get a label on it. I can't even get no,
Where's
I
the
can go,
ingredient?
yeah, you know what I'm saying? I can't get no ingredient on this. And this is what they've been doing in Australia. It's like they're using Australia as a testing ground for all of these fascist policies or whatever. And it's funny, I've been telling motherfuckers this shit literally for years. I've been over here since '07, right?
Uh-huh.
And motherfuckers see what they see on TV, and they're like, "Oh, America's so crazy, it's wild." I'm so scared to go over there. Everybody got guns and all this shit or whatever. And I'm just looking at these motherfuckers like, yo, y'all don't see all this fascism like right under your nose and shit. And then it happens like, they just passing laws over here and motherfuckers don't even blink. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers don't even blink. So I'm like, yo, you motherfuckers are just being lulled to sleep while you fucking thinking America over there. Because I can promise you when shit go down, America is gonna fight,
We,
period. You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna fight in America. What y'all motherfuckers gonna do over here? You know what I'm
right?
saying? Like don't worry about America because like whatever you see is mostly bullshit anyway. And like I said, I mean, America is we know like and even since 2008, you know what I'm saying, whenever the financial crash happened or whatever, you had middle class white people start being affected and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like middle class white people that were like upper middle class started being affected. Motherfuckers are losing their homes left, right, and center, just like the rest of the population or whatever. So that began to change things. People started to see that the government was not their friend. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they brought in Trump. You know what I'm saying? First they brought in Obama to basically, that's when the whole race war energy started to begin to foment. So when Obama came in, more guns and ammo was purchased over this motherfucker's presidency than the history of the fucking planet. I don't know if you're aware of that, but
I knew it
more
was a lot,
fucking,
but I didn't realize it was that much.
yes, bruh, more guns and ammo. So again, all this hysteria, like about this black man gonna be president and the world's gonna end, and immediately they start fomenting this race war, right? So the race war, I'm all about receipts. My same Black Thought Chronicles. I got a channel on a page on a group on Facebook. that I was putting out this information back then, and I can put it up right now, but I've got fucking posts saying, here is the setup: race war followed by civil war. This is what they're gonna do over the next period and shit. And you can clearly see it from Obama's presidency through Trump. Where we at right now? We're on the brink of fucking civil war in America. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these things that they're trying to do right now to divide the people, separate the people by race, color, all of this stuff like that. And now like vaxxed and unvaxxed or whatever. Yo, all they're doing is making it easier for them to wipe us out, period. Because the government don't care about none of you.
Yeah, very well said. And like you were talking about, yeah, trying to foment that race war, but now trying to this people are divided over masks or not masks. Like my mother got harassed the other day by some, like I call her a Karen of color, trying to get on her at the bank and not serve her because she didn't have her mask with her that day. You know, so I do think the lines are
Yeah,
being
it's a lot
drawn
of that
over
out
like,
there.
you know, who's got the jab, who doesn't, who's wearing a mask, who is like following. And you want to talk about like cults, it's like who's following the guidelines that are set by, you know, Fauci high up, you know, all these people who are past, you know, giving these edicts, not even following it themselves, but people are taking it as like a religious gospel. It's like you got to do this or else, you know. So you can definitely see the lines forming, and it's coming. It's like, you know, you're either on the side of freedom or you're on the side of, like you say,
Exactly.
fascism. And like having to learn what fascism was a few years ago, everyone was throwing that term around. I was like, I don't even. I've heard this in my history class, but I'm like, I don't know, you know, what it actually looks like. So things are starting to look clear. And I could say the disinformation by the media is and the heavy censorship. I do feel like which quote unquote normies people, the status quo, are starting to catch on. It's hard to
Yeah.
hide the deaths that are being racked up by the medicine that they're giving, you know, people. So you saw, oh, it's Nicki Minaj. Who would have thought, you know, she'd be her and
Yeah.
her stands would be some of the people leading the charge. So
Yeah.
I'm seeing more and more famous people after this whole wave of propaganda, all these rap songs I used to like being ruined by them trying to push this stuff on people. But
I'm glad I missed that.
right, I'm like, I do think it'll be interesting to see how what, you know, if the White House can get their hands on Nikki to make her do a shot live or something. But I do
Yeah.
think people are just kind of fed up with being told a different thing every day.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would just piggyback on that. Sometimes I think you're spot on, bro. They decided back in, 2010, actually it was 2008 when they did the financial reset, the market crash, that they were going to create a other, and race became the way that they created a other. How can we get the black angry? And they utilized social media to take the angst that we felt, which our angst was the same angst that the poor white people in America had. All of our industrial jobs left. It wasn't anything about race. Technology was changing. Our entire financial system was changing. It had nothing to do with race. But they made us think that, oh, the immigrants are stealing the jobs here in America. No, globalization happened. That's not racist. They decided that you didn't matter and that they could find cheaper labor elsewhere. And so when we realize that it's not the people versus the people, it's the people versus them, then you stop fighting the fights about, oh, Hexicans need to fight each other. Hell no, we need each other. Oh, the black man need to fight the white man. Nah, we actually on the same team. And
Yeah.
if you and it really took my brother Asherell to open my third eye and make me realize, hold on, man, you're gonna end up running into a fight that your ass shouldn't have been fighting in the first place.
Mm, true.
And
That's
think about them protests last year here in America, brother. You
yeah.
had thousands of black people out in the streets screaming, screaming, mad, angry. What did we get from that? A jab.
Yeah. or everybody looking at us funny because they can't understand why we don't trust the government. As if it's so simple, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, yeah, that can be like the headline, but again, we don't trust what we don't fucking trust. The math don't fucking add up. Where's the receipts, yo? You know what I'm saying? You're telling me, first of all, I don't know if you guys were aware of this as well, but just about a week ago Friday, the uh the CDC just changed the definition of uh immunity and vaccination. You know that, right? So
How,
now
what's the
if you go,
definition, my brother?
hold on a second, let me find this. You guys filibuster for a second. I'm gonna find this real
You
quick
good?
and
You
I'll
good?
pull
You
it
good?
up.
You good?
Yeah.
Asherelle, man. Once again, I want to say to both of y'all here publicly, thank y'all, brothers, man. Y'all are two of the strongest minded, independent thinking brothers. And it's you guys that encourage me to think outside the box, to do more research, to actually believe in what you're being taught. Because the truth is out there, but you gotta go seek it. And knowing that there are brothers across this world out there believing in the actual truth and willing to do their due diligence says tenfold about the world that I'm raising children in and the world that we are going to create. They want us to lose hope. They want us to lose faith. They want us to start hating one another. But nah, you got brothers that's linking up through this technology. You got brothers that's using the blockchain the way it's supposed to be used. And once we start putting our powers together, oh man, what they gonna do next?
Mm.
Word for sure. And it's like, yeah, it's those type of people who've helped me. I was telling Son this earlier, like through Instagram, YouTube, people I found, like whether it's like Zay, people, I saw his interview on Hotep Jesus, and that's how I got on the show with Hotep Nation and all what they got going on over there. If y'all check out like people like Chicago Crypto Hustler on YouTube, he's been in there, been in the space for a few years, like 4 or 5 years. He's actually from Chicago, teaching people how to do cryptos and kind of actually doing the hard work of answering those same questions over and over, doing live, showing people how to interact with the technology, going into the metaverse. So it's people like that who I came across, shout out to God, who definitely spurred my interest, showed me a way to actually do things. You can link up with them, pay them for their time and their knowledge to just show you how to do things and think of things from a different perspective in the space. So yeah, appreciate that. Shout out Jams, JJ. Yeah, it's definitely, I can't say here. It's hard sometimes when you get caught up in social media. You see bodies dropping for a few years. You see brothers getting murked, almost every other month, and that definitely takes a toll on your psyche, and can get you kind of out of sorts. So yeah, it's definitely good whenever you can, and having people around you to help you step back, kind of take a look at things, and don't be fearful or have that anxiety when you open your phone. It's like, who am I going to see get their head blown off today? Type thing, and it's kind of just live understanding what the matrix is, and how its tentacles are everywhere, and how to be in it without letting it overpower you emotionally.
Yeah, definitely. I put out a clip on my channel a couple of weeks back, and the name of it is like computer program predicts the end of the world by 2060. It's so crazy. The club of, you guys heard of the Club of Rome, right? This one of these many of these private, slimy kind of organizations that are all these men in the back rooms with cigars and shit making deals for the rest of us or whatever.
Mhm.
This was in 1973. All right, this video came out. Um, Long story short, like people think all of this shit is just happening right now or whatever. Like this, COVID-19 just popped off and all this shit like that. Even though we got the receipts on that as well, but you can clearly see these old white men. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just calling them, I'm not talking shit about white men. I'm saying these old white men are generally the types that are making these decisions for the whole planet and shit. You know what I'm saying? So these old white men, unelected figures and shit, literally giving you the roadmap from 1973 up until 2060. And it's funny because they were saying by 2020, this is going to happen and that was going to happen and this is what the world is going to be like and shit. So you can clearly see there has been individuals through these private organizations like the WHO, Club of Rome, what I'm saying, the G8, 9, 10, 11, and all of these other little, slippery, slimy, organizations and shit like that, unelected officials, mind you, that are literally shaping the culture of the fucking planet. Like everything from what we wear to what we say to how we think, what I'm saying, like to what's hot and what's not and shit. All these things are decided ahead of time, and it's like we're all in this petri dish, and they just they keep moving around like the elements inside of the fucking petri dish so they can get the end result of this grand experiment or whatever. This is literally what we're dealing with. So if you go back and peep that shit, anybody who want to check it on my channel, so you can see the receipts and shit, you literally see these men telling you from 1963 before.
Oh, I lost it. You still there, James?
Most of us were born. I mean, yeah. Okay. We blinked out for a second. We have to erode all sovereignty. You know what I'm saying? We have to make the world leaders fall under our scrutiny. Otherwise, they won't even exist at all. You know what I'm saying? And they're talking so openly. You know what I'm saying? Because they could do that back in the day before we caught up to the game and shit. They can openly tell you their plans, and it was no big deal. Over a cigar and a cup of gin or some shit like that. So to me, again, I know this shit didn't just pop off like yesterday or a week ago, whatever. I understand that this shit, they've been planning this way before 1973. You know what I'm saying? These people working like 50-year blocks and shit, and we sitting here thinking that everything is happening in real time.
Bro.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
You're spot on, because if you think things weren't calculated moves, you're highly mistaken. It takes decades to implement world domination plans. And there are agents, as you said, out there making sure that the way this was supposed to go down, it went down that way. And let's go back, like you said, to the 70s. During that time, the United States, and some of the things we may say here might ultimately get us banned, but the CIA was making moves throughout the world to ensure the USA cartel had grips for generations and generations. That was the financial cartel. That was the banking structure. That was the old families. That was money that you'll never see. And now today, you have the same families deciding you're going to get government welfare, you're going to get a government jab, and you're going to like it.
Yeah.
It was planned. It was not something that, it just happened out of the blue. People got sick. No, they were having meetings, conferences, PowerPoint presentations, Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah. Event 201.
Yeah.
Event 201.
It's funny, we're talking about cults, but I think my theory is that cults run the world. So it's like you could have cults that are thousands of years old, have access to history and information that the regular populace doesn't have. They can seep their tentacles into the historics, media, government, and control that. And things you hear like, so and so, or they added 1,000 years to our calendar. So we're, what year are we actually living in? What is the actual timeline that we are on? So it's kind of like addressing everything you were taught in your history books. You don't know who wrote those, the groups of people behind them, the way people infiltrate the universities, and then kind of have that web of a certain way of thinking that seeps out. You're kind of looking at the Ivy Leagues, thinking how those started. Maybe those were zealot cults, drug dealer, financial people who come together, made up these universities, and push out whatever they want to do. So you can look at Harvard, you can go look at say the CCP in China, you can go look at whatever they're doing in Aussie and whoever's running those countries, what they're doing in certain parts of different countries in Africa, South America, different people going from Germany down to Argentina to Israel, and kind of see a web of you can kind of catch tidbits of this cult or what this way of taking over the world. So I would say we the people outnumber whoever these people are, but it's kind of like they have to have minions do their dirty work for them, and it's making sure that we the people don't let those minions enact what they want.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I finally found this. I had to go like do some extra research to find this one link I was telling you guys about, because the link that I was using before the talk that was talking about they've changed the definition 3 times since 2015 for vaccine. I'm about to read it to you right now. But the original link that I had is just disappeared. I go there and it's just like a picture and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that happens quite a bit, like in this game. So let me share my joint real quick. That one there. So, yeah. All right. So I'm just gonna read this real quick or whatever, and you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about. This is the kind of nonsense they got us dealing with, right? So CDC changes definition of vaccines to fit the COVID-19 limitations. All right. So the Center for Disease Control has carefully evolved the definition of vaccination to meet the declining ability of some of today's vaccines, including the COVID-19 vaccines. The original definition prior to 2015 stated that vaccines prevent disease. Starting in 2015, the definition was altered to say that vaccines produce immunity without necessarily preventing disease. After the COVID vaccines were introduced, and it was discovered that they do not necessarily prevent disease or provide immunity, CDC altered the definition of vaccines again to say that they merely produce protection. They produce protection. All right. They don't even produce it. They changed the fucking definition just a week ago again to say that no, my bad. I know we said that they kind of produce immunity and give you a little bit of this, but now we're just gonna say they give you some.
My brother, that's called pulling up the receipts, and I have
protection.
to.
It don't even fucking give you a Biden what way done.
Excuse me, sorry about that.
So no, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to speak over you, but I wanted to just say that's called pulling up the receipts right there. And one thing I love as a philosopher is etymology, the root of words. How are words defined? And if you go back to the history of words and watch how they evolve, you can learn about who was interpreting those definitions. You can learn about the power structures that were in place at that time, because in order to change a definition, you have to be in charge and be able to define. So that goes back to what you were saying a while ago, Asherel, and son, you just proved the point with receipts. They changed definition because they don't want you to know what they don't want you to know. And other than that, there would be no reason to change the definition of a word that was already defined and colloquially understood. Nobody misunderstood what a vaccine was.
And so look how crazy this is. You got this mob with pitchforks and shit all over telling you that you should do this shit that don't even give you immunity. Not only so, the shit does not give you immunity. We have no idea what's in a single one of these motherfucking mRNAs, period. We don't know. And if you're telling me you know, show me. Show me. Because I'm looking on all of their I'm looking on their pages. I'm looking at their shit. They don't have it. Not Johnson, not fucking, none of these motherfuckers, right?
Yeah. Johnson, yeah. Sorry, go ahead. I mean, because I was like that, the company that was doing asbestos and baby powder, that Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, exactly. Them motherfuckers, they got a history going back to before my grandmother was born of just doing terrible shit, right? But not only that, and this is the main thing, even with these normal flu vaccines, whatever, they'll set up these little secret courts. I'm saying the pharma companies or whatever, they'll set up these little secret courts and they'll shuffle money to X amount of dollars to every year and shit for lawsuits, whatever. But they don't sue them directly. They sue like whatever the locality or some shit like that, right? But with these particular fucking shots, these COVID-19 shots, nobody is responsible. They have carte blanche. So all these people that are dying and that are not being reported are reported in different ways and shit like that. All these people that are having these, limbs going numb and fucking side of their face and all this kind of crazy blood clots and all this other shit like that. All this going on, there is no recourse. You people have to understand this shit. If anything, and the thing is, I'm not really concerned about what's gonna happen like today or tomorrow if I were to take this shit. I'm more concerned about the genetic level, the biological level, the DNA level harm, because you guys have to understand what this shit, what's the mRNA is doing. It's like a fucking, it's like a fucking a modem and shit. It controls like the routes and signals, and it reroutes your fucking DNA and your cell signals. Just so we're clear here, this shit goes in and it restructures your shit. It starts giving commands to your very DNA structure, and it doesn't stop. This is what we know. It doesn't stop once you get the shot, or it doesn't expire ever. It continues to manipulate you on a cellular level. So you're trying to tell me we got shit manipulating us on a cellular level. There's no studies at all. There's no paperwork at all. And we can't sue these motherfuckers if something happened. And we got the whole peanut gallery telling us you got to do this or you're a bad person, you're a bad citizen.
And brother, I think that brings up a point that I thought about there. CRISPR, gene editing technology. I mean, we are on the leading edge of CRISPR and gene editing. Like, that's why Kathy Wood is so powerful at ARC. It's because she's the lead investor in CRISPR, and they are on the forefront of creating not only vaccines, but being able to supposedly fix diabetes. How the do you fix diabetes? But outside of that, in addition to being able to utilize CRISPR, bro, I think you make another point that's beautiful. Why haven't they actually released the paperwork? Why did we have to do something without the paperwork first? Like, typically, as a intellectual or as a person who studies, you get papers, there are articles, it's peer reviewed, there's actual case studies, and there, you go present in front of people and you argue your dissertation, and even the professor gets to say, that wasn't that good, go back to the table. And then the other professors say to you, you know what, that wasn't that good, go back to the table. And your peers get to look at you and say, you know what, I don't think that's that good, go back to the table.
Yep.
You can't even question anymore. And
Yep.
I feel that we've lost our ability to have any rights, man. And it's a cold place we're going to.
Yeah, yo, it's straight up Gestapo. They got these vaccine passports and all this little shit like that or whatever. But either we're gonna take it or we not. That's really
Straight
what it
up.
boils down to. But even, like, bringing this back around to crypto. So Asher L
We're
was
not
talking about.
going to take it.
Hell no, never that on the blockchain, fool. But Asher
That
L,
was a shout
when
out
you
to
were
King right there. That was a shout out to King.
true, that's what's up. Oh yeah, I heard him say that the other day. So I know you guys don't know because we literally just meeting and breaking bread or whatever. But so I made my first purchase in crypto back in May of last year. Even though I've known about it forever, like literally.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say I knew about crypto. I knew about Bitcoin and Ethereum. I didn't know shit about crypto. I knew about Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's it. I didn't know anything else existed at all before I got in and made my first purchases. So like I was telling Asher when we were in the green room before we got on live, like, I didn't have any point of reference. I didn't know like there was this whole world of influences and all of that shit. So I just started from one point. Like I just thought, let me just look at all of these coins that end in chain and see what they're about. You know what I'm saying? So I found V chain and like a bunch of other chains and shit. But I was like, okay, that was kind of random. Let me just go down the fucking list of coins and shit. So I went to like the first 3,000 fucking coins, yo, like literally, and just researching every single one of them. Blah 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 blah. And so, you know, I'm a Virgo moon. I don't know if you guys are into astrology or whatever. I'm sure you are, but like
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Virgo moon and shit. So like the process is critical. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about like the process or whatever. So like looking underneath every fucking corner and shit. So I would say within the first 3 weeks, I'm sorry, 3 days to a week of me like making my first purchase, I went from like ultimate elation to fucking like severe sadness, all in a matter of like 3 days. Like no bullshit. Because what I realized and shit, you know, because again, you know, um, my first coin I purchased was Stellar XLM. And the only reason why I chose that coin was because of it was actually Stellar Lumens. Stellar Lumens, right?
Mhm.
That's the name of the coin. And I'm like, Stellar Lumens. And the name, and you were talking about etymology earlier, JJ. So like knowing what I know about like that, the root word lumens, lucent, you know what I'm saying, light bringer. I'm
Exactly.
like, I'm like, oh, this is some beast shit right here. So that's the first place my mind went. So I started doing the research on what's your boy's name, Jed McCaleb, who's
Mhm.
like the founder of XLM, used to be over at XRP. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hold on a second. So this motherfucker. But not only was he at XRP, he was at Mount Gox first, right? If you know the history of your boy Jed McCaleb, who is the founder of XLM, he was behind that monstrosity at Mount Gox where so many people got fucked. Like
Mhm.
so many people. I don't even know how that dude is even doing business right now, right?
They
All
still
right.
ain't got their coins.
So then boom. He leaves Mount Gox like clean, you know what I'm saying? Nothing. He jumps over to XRP. You know what I'm saying? Like supposedly they had beef. You know what I'm saying? He had beef with the motherfuckers over there, so he popped over to fucking, you know, did his thing over at Stellar Lumens or whatever. To make a long story short, when I started researching these motherfuckers like Jed McCaleb and their actual background and the shit that they're into, when I'm telling you about these private groups like the Club of Rome and all these other secret society type organization, this is where your boy Jed McCaleb is bred from. All right.
Okay.
So I knew, and then I started seeing some of these same names like Larry Summers, who was like one of the architects behind this crash in '08. You know what
Uh-huh.
I'm saying? I'm starting seeing these names all over fucking crypto, and then I'm starting seeing all these government officials jumping from crypto to from over to the bank to over to this exchange. And I'm like, oh shit, damn,
Let
this
me
is not.
let, let me jump in right there,
Yeah,
brother.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So, shout out to Larry Summers. Your daughter Pam is a great woman. She was my across the roommate, across the hall homegirl, and he had twin daughters, and
Okay,
I was friends with him. So, not only was he the Harvard president before he crashed the market, he was so interconnected with like the financial cartel, as we'll call them, or as my brother Asherell often
The red,
calls them, the
the
redacted.
redacted.
the
I'll
redacted.
call
I
you
like
the
that.
financial cartel. Um, but he literally, like, you just like when you said that name, there's a part of me that just kind of, because he did it intentionally. He not only moved inside of Harvard, but let's bring up another name, Sam Bankman Fried. Sam Bankman Fried parents are Stanford law professors. Sam Bankman-Fried's dad wrote the tax law code in the United States. He is the premier tax law code advisor. He gives tax law advice to the Silicon Valley. So when anybody says, "Oh, they know more about American tax law than Sam Bankman-Fried's dad," they're a lie. He wrote the damn book.
Mm.
And so when you say, why is FTX winning? Because his daddy wrote the book.
True.
You know, life's so simple that way. You know, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you're right about that. You should check out if you follow Joel Benjamin 528. He comes at it from he's on Instagram. You can find him on TikTok and YouTube. But I just came across him recently, but he'll bring out that angle of, like, you know, these secret societies. He gets into all the occult astrology and how it interconnects with the cryptocurrencies, and, you know, how the signs and the logos call back to
What?
ancient, in some of his live streams he's done call back to ancient, you know, areas, whether it's, you know, I guess Kemet or whatever, Egypt, things of
Yeah.
that nature. So yeah, that's very informative as you're going into the space, because yeah, I do like to look at charts, look at the community, but then approaching it from that side where you can kind of get a glimpse of the shadowiness of it, by looking at the symbols and how, and the different, and
Yeah.
then, like, I like how y'all do the research of finding out the actual people who they're involved with, what organizations they're with. So coming at it from that entire angle, you can kind of get a good sense of what these products are about, who's behind them, and what they're doing, and trying to maintain that control going from the old age into the new age, you know.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
they're trying to recolonize this new digital frontier. Straight
Right,
up.
it's like the crusades are back on again, but no, people don't realize it. What we learned about the old crusades was very false, but it's like the same type of people redoing the crusades. You got a lot of people out here, you know, whether or not the earth is flat, you know, it may be flat in some sense, but, you know, a lot of people, it's the same type of things being called back of what people believe in, what people are fighting over. And the purge, you can tell they're trying to bring about through separating the population by race, your medical, so called medical status, and things like that, to cement that power in the
Yeah,
digital
yeah.
age.
Yeah. It's a like it's yeah, I definitely need to look this guy out because I've never you literally described this research that I started like from the first week getting into crypto.
Hmm.
And I literally have a whole series called Crypto Cult. You know
Oh,
what
I'm
I'm
gonna check that
saying?
out.
And it's all of that astrology, the symbolism, like all of that shit, numerology. Like I codified this shit. I literally broke this shit down. You know what I'm saying? Like to the most minimal, minute compound. You know what I'm saying? And then extrapolated from there and shit. So I won't go into it too much, but my whole principle is I see this blockchain as like, you know, they talk about like the Big Bang, like as a creation of the universe or whatever. The blockchain and cryptocurrency is like a replication of that process of the Big Bang. You know what I'm saying? It's like a how can you say, like a mathematical, a mechanical aspect of that. So you know, you have like, you know, we deal with geometric progression, right? We all understand geometric progression, whatever, and that's the same thing inside of the blockchain when you're dealing with proof of work. You know what I'm saying? Whenever they're solving these formulas to manifest these Bitcoin, they're dealing with mathematical principles and shit that are universal in nature, like cause and effect, like vibration. You know what I'm saying? Like the law of correspondence and all of this or whatever. This is the blockchain. This is the artificial universe they created from something that's organic and natural and shit. You know what I'm saying? But yo, it's so crazy. I haven't even finished it because what I've noticed about people, everybody want that moon talk and shit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to hear this shit, especially bro. I mean, imagine this shit. I'm just like fresh off the boat in crypto as far as like investing. You know, I'm not even a year in the game. You know what I'm saying? And I see the shit immediately, and you know, I start doing this research, and I actually waited for a couple of months before I actually start putting it out. So I'm like, yo, this shit is gonna ruffle feathers. I know it. Like motherfuckers are not gonna want to hear this shit about their favorite fucking cryptos and shit or whatever.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I started putting it out, and like, you know, I haven't really got like a lot of response from those, but every time I do something like about hex or just anything like involving like moon talking shit, it's like, you know, motherfuckers love that shit, like as far as crypto or whatever. But it's there, yo. That's why I say like this blockchain is like a fucking new frontier for all of us and shit. Are we gonna let these fucking I call them the deplorable class, right? Like these beast agents and shit. I call them the deplorable class. We're gonna let these motherfuckers come in here and colonize this space, so we're gonna link together. You know what I'm saying? Forget about all this tribalistic nonsense and shit. Your coin is your coin. You know what I'm saying? If you know that your freedom is the most important thing, even because again, who gives a fuck if all of these new millionaires are gonna be made if we have no fucking freedom? What are we gonna do? Sit in our fucking castles up in the sky, like playing our fucking gadgets and shit, and millionaires, but we can't do shit? Nah.
Yeah,
Can't even
you're
go
right.
outside. And bro, I think you're spot on. Again, I think I'm honored to be in this conversation with both of you. Brother Asherell, you were the one that first put me on numerology, made me understand, bro, you are 11 and 7. You got the stars aligned perfectly.
Yeah, bro.
Like you are organically and naturally God. That is pure numbers, brother. And if we start to really talk about the things that make us powerful and the things that actually bring us together, in addition to the blockchain, the money, and we actually align our values and our principles, they can't stop us, because you're right. It is about having freedom. It's about actually being able to utilize the money, because if I'm stuck in my house on lockdown and I can't go do what I want to do when I want to do it, doesn't matter how much money I got, because I can't do nothing with it. And I'm not changing anybody else's life. I'm not having an impact on the world. But that's why we're here, man. We actually are having an impact. We are actually teaching. We are actually educating. We're having the conversations publicly that others are afraid to have. We're saying things that really many people won't actually say. Like, I dropped a gem a while ago. They didn't know Sam Bankman-Fried daddy wrote examples and explanations for federal income tax. He actually got another book called Teacher's Manual for Federal Income Taxation. He wrote the book in 1997. So he was teaching the teachers how to write the federal income tax code back in 1997. And they wonder why. Gotta do your research, man. They don't be trusting everything that they say, because sometimes the people that you think is on your side, what you say earlier, son Cypher, there's some agents out there.
Yeah, yo, straight up. The agents, they look like you, they breathe like you, they sleep like you, they eat like you, but that ain't you. They're not you. You know what I'm saying?
And it's good I got brothers like you that can help me clear my lens. Like, if it weren't for brothers like Asherell saying, "Hey, Jams, look a little deeper. Lift that hood up. See what else is out there. Go a little bit further." I also too would be blind. I also too would not be, willing to say the things that we're out here saying today. So I don't want to cut this conversation short, but I've had to jump off a couple times because I got the kid, and he absolutely is going to be up any minute.
Yeah, man.
So before he gets up, I'm gonna jump off, but I want to give you your flowers, bro. We got to do this weekly. I don't know if we're gonna call this. I don't know if we're gonna call this the Sunday, chop up session, but this is what the people need right here, man. Like,
true.
This, seeing my brother Asherell, who I've known since 2005. He been my brother. I know his mind, and breaking bread with you today, man. Y'all, that's two goats right there. There's literally two heavyweights sitting on the screen. And if anybody that's tuning in out there don't know, these brothers right here do their research. They know what they're talking about, and true to who they are. And so thank you for even gracing me with the time today, because, man, we got to do this weekly, because the people need y'all two brothers together, because they need the knowledge that y'all can drop.
Yeah, yo, well, respect as well, man. I mean, like I said, man, I mean, we for you guys who wasn't here in the beginning, I just met these brothers, yo. Like, I just met them. I never spoken to JJ. I've never spoken to Asher L before today. So, we have, we got this thing in common. That's the type of like tribalism that I'm fucking with, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's us against the fascists. So, respect to everybody that's putting it down. Oh, again, and let me say this as well, just on the same topic. If you guys haven't seen uh, Kinetics' two-part interview with the great Cynthia McKinney, Dr. Cynthia McKinney, go check it out as well, because they're talking about these same issues that we've been talking about as well. Like,
Yeah.
basically how we need to coalesce, we need to click up, we need to tribe up against the establishment, not each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's really time for all of us to grow up in this space. All of our personal shits, whatever you may think about this group of people or that group of people in the past, you know what I'm saying? Like, put that shit aside, because it's really us against them. So yeah, like JJ said, we're gonna keep this moving for sure. Just the energy here was crazy.
It's
It's
organic,
like,
bro. It's natural.
yeah, bro. It's like Sunday service, right? Kanye
Yeah.
don't got nothing on us, yo. It's like
Hey, that might have to
it's
be what we call it, bro. Might have to call it the Sunday service, bro.
right. It's fitting that we're gonna finish this. It's about to be 4:20 a.m. my time, so you know what time it is, son. Respect, yo. So yo, we're gonna catch up on the flip side, brothers. I'll be in touch with you guys like in the next fucking half hour and like half day and shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, no, and honestly, bro,
take-
we gotta bring you on to Crypto and Down. Thank you.
for sure.
Like this, like honestly, this is just a first conversation. When shit is just when the stars aligned and the universe says this is how you should walk forward, I'm walking, because I know for a fact God didn't bring these two brothers in my life for the people not to receive the message. They say they believe in prophets, but they didn't receive the message. The brothers here is telling y'all the truth, man. Appreciate you. I feel good today, man. Like honestly, I received a word today. A lot of people say they go to church, but they ain't get the message. Y'all was preaching today, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, like I said, this has been a fun, organic conversations. And like, I love meeting new people, like-minded people. So shout out to you, son.
Yeah, respect to both of you brothers, and we'll do this again in the near future. Right now, Hex is at 48 cents. All right, buy that dip. Anybody, hex.com, you know what I'm saying, postchain.com, you know what we do. Respect to all the gods and goddesses, and all love to everybody. It's the tribe against the fucking establishment. Fuck them. All right, brothers, we'll talk soon, yeah?
Peace.
Be.
Peace.